Hi guys, I hope you're all well. I'm really looking forward to today's tutorial. I hope everyone's staying safe at home and enjoying your time with your family. So today we're going to be making vegan chocolate chip cookies, and the ingredients are just so simple. I've got 45 grams of coconut oil, 45 grams of brown sugar, 45 grams of white sugar, 170 grams of plain flour, 130 grams of vegan chocolate chips, generally dark chocolate chips, but you can order any type of vegan chocolate off the internet. I've got 40 milliliters of almond milk. You can use coconut milk, any type of dairy-free milk. I've also got half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of bicarbonate soda, and a quarter teaspoon of salt, and then literally just 1 tablespoon of vanilla essence. So I'm going to start with my coconut oil. I do actually have this as room temperature. You can stick it in the microwave for 10 to 15 seconds max. Just do not let it melt. So now I'm going to add this to my mixer, and this is kind of acting as your butter, so you're going to let that sort of come together all smooth and whip nicely. So I'm going to switch this on. Okay, now this is done, you can see that it looks super creamy, so that's what you're looking for. So now that my coconut oil is creamed, I'm going to add in my 45 grams of caster sugar and 45 grams of brown sugar. You can use granulated or just normal brown sugar, it's absolutely fine, just use what you have at home. So I'm going to add them both in, and now I'm going to mix this again. At this point you might want to scrape down the edges a few times, so I'm just going to do that. First you might not see the sugar and the coconut oil coming together, but now it is. So I'm just going to let this whisk on low and then I'll speed it up. Okay, so now this is done, your mixture should look something like that. It looks a little bit sandy, grainy, but still well combined, so that's what you're looking for. Now you have this bit done, you're going to add in your 40 milliliters of almond milk and you're going to let that stir again. Again, you might just need to scrape down the edges. And now the consistency of this kind of looks like over wet sand. So I'm just going to show you. Wet sand or like a bit of soggy Weetabix. So that's kind of what you're looking for there. Now that I've done this, I'm going to add in my 170 grams of plain flour. You can use gluten-free, so they're vegan and gluten-free, which is great. So I'm just going to add this. If you do end up using plain flour, the only thing you might get a bit more of a rise on your cookies, which is fine, and you're only going to eat them at home, so it shouldn't be a problem. Now that I've got my plain flour in, I'm going to add in my quarter teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of baking powder and half a teaspoon of bicarbonate soda. And along with that I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. You may find that the texture does look quite crumbly, that's fine, that's how it's supposed to look. It won't be sticky, it won't be wet, it will be quite dry, but when you start moulding your balls together, I think just the heat of your hands will kind of melt them a little bit and then allow them to sit. So this is what I've got so far. It's just quite crumbly. So I'm just going to scrape my bowl down, and I'm just going to give this another whisk. So I've got this on slow, and now I'm going to add in my 130 grams of dark chocolate, which is vegan. Again, just give it another scrape down, and then you can let it whisk for a minute or two on high speed. You just want to make sure that your chocolate goes all the way through and none of the dough has settled at the bottom. And any bits of dough that look chunky, just break them up. At this point you can kind of see it coming together, which is exactly what you want. So now this is ready to get on to your baking parchment and get in the oven. So now I have my dough at the perfect consistency. Now I'm going to use a ladle that I have at home to scoop up the dough to make sure that I've got even sort of quantities per cookie. I generally use a ice cream scoop when I'm at work, and this works for pouring cupcakes into cases or anything like that, but I don't have that at home. So I'm going to use a ladle. You guys can either weigh them out on a weighing scale, that's completely up to you, or just go free flow, make some big, some small. But yeah, this bit's just super easy. So literally all I do is I just take my ladle, go into my mixture, and also here I've got my baking tray and I've already lined it with parchment. So I've got my quantity here. I'll press that into the back of my hand and I'll just give it a bit of a squash between my hands so it comes together. I'm just going to pick up any of the dough that's fallen, and literally that is it. It doesn't look broken, it looks like a solid little ball now. So what I would suggest is just make sure you've got 4 in each corner so then your parchment doesn't sort of move around in the oven. So yeah, just get started with that. So now that I have all my cookie balls rolled out, you might just want to give them a little press down. These don't really spread, they kind of stay as a sort of little chunky cookie, which is quite nice because then you don't feel like you're eating too much. I have preheated my oven to 175 degrees before I started baking, so it's nice and hot and ready for the cookies. I'm going to now put these in for, I'd say probably about 11 to 12 minutes, and then they should be ready. Now that my cookies are baked, I left them in the oven for about 12 minutes and they've come up perfect. They're nice golden brown. They do look chunky, but what's better than chunky? So now I'm just going to get a palette knife and I'm just going to scoop them up and put them on a wire rack so they can cool down properly. So now that's done, I'm going to give them about 10 minutes to cool down and then they'll be ready to eat. The great thing about these, they taste so nice when they're fresh out of the oven because they're all warm inside. You can eat them that way, have them with some maybe vegan ice cream or something, or you can wait and you can store them in an airtight container and have them the next day, but either way they taste great. So the cookies have cooled for about 10 minutes and now I'm just going to open one up to show you inside. I really hope you guys enjoy this tutorial on vegan chocolate chip cookies. They're so easy to make and taste delicious, and I can't wait to see your creations. If you guys have got any other ideas of anything you'd like me to bake, then please just comment it below or drop me a message and I'll give it a go. But in the meantime, stay safe and thank you.